Whitetail deer are actually not indigenous to northern Maine. It was the colonial timber practices and farming practices that made northern Maine habitable for whitetail deer and welcomed them up here. Since the deer are here due to human practices, then we need to take a proactive role in managing the deer population. It's a desirable game species. It's desirable for aesthetics. Everybody wants the whitetail deer here.
Plum Creek is involved in a collaborative agreement with the state of Maine that covers 31,000 acres of deer wintering areas. These involve 16 distinct separate deer wintering areas that range from 300 acres all the way up to over 6,000 acres.
Deer yards are important for deer because in the northern climates like this, at their northern extent of their range, deep snow impacts how well they move and burns up a lot of energy whenever it gets too deep. These softwood stands are ideal wintering habitat for deer because the dense canopy intercepts the snow and reduces the snowpack in the understory. This allows deer to move easily through it by creating trails, and this saves energy.
This collaborative research project on whitetail deer came about through a fortuitous event of us finding out about the University of Maine being interested in beginning a project in this area.
This study was very important because there was a drastic decline in the deer population. For example, up in northern Maine, we probably had only about 1 deer per square mile. And the state would like at least 13, maybe 15 deer per square mile. For the last several years, we radio collar. And what I mean by radio collaring is putting a collar on the deer. We're using Telonics collars that has a GPS and satellite unit that follows the deer around over several years. So you can see every 3 hours where the deer is, what kind of habitat it uses, is there any kind of movements of the animals.
This study is bringing together people who are interested in the deer population for different reasons. You have the timber companies like Plum Creek that are supporting this, the Maine Guide Association, Sportsmen's Alliance of Maine, obviously the University of Maine at Fort Kent, the Maine Department of Inland Fisheries and Wildlife. Everyone has a vested interest in seeing the results of this study.
As a forest landowner, we are always interested in using science to help guide and inform our forest management. And for a species like the whitetail deer, even though it's been studied for many decades and in many places, we can always use more local knowledge of how deer are using these particular areas, how climate, how weather influences their movements, and how our forest management affects their use of the area.